What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got so much to talk about today. Loads going on in the sealed Pokemon market at the moment. We're seeing some insane price rises. Even Destined Rivals is dropping down in price a little bit. We're going to talk about everything that's going on in the market. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Let's get into it. Let's start off by talking about the king of the Scarlet and Violet era, the Destined Rivals. There's so much controversy in the hobby about Destined Rivals. The price has done insane things since release. It's just gone up and up and up in price. And this week is the first week where we're seeing a reduction in price. Oh no, everyone quick in the comments, tell everyone that PokePond is wrong. He said it would just go up to the moon. Sell everything, panic buy, panic sell even. Don't worry about it. So let's talk about what's actually going on with the figures. So last week we were seeing an average price of $316, which in itself is absolutely insane for such a new set so close to its release. $316 last sales, multiple sales here at $300 today. Now, also a sale today, $313, which is $3 lower than last week. The reason why we're seeing a reduction in price is because we've seen a wave of product hit the market this week. We've seen releases on Pokemon Center UK, I believe Pokemon Center US as well, and also it's just been trickling through the supply chain as well. Definitely here in the UK we've been seeing LCSs get a small wave of restocks, so we're just seeing more supply hitting the market. Is this a time to be worried if you're holding? Not at all. I predict that the price is just going to continue to keep going up, and this is normal to see ebbs and flows of new sets as more product hits the market. What you really need to think about with Destined Rivals particular is supply versus demand. So price of everything is affected by the supply, how much is on the market of the boxes, and the demand, how many people want to buy them. It's as simple as that. Now this week we've seen more supply hit the market, so we're seeing a slight reduction in price. That's normal. What's really going to be interesting is what happens in 3 weeks' time when there's no more available. Because it probably won't even take 3 weeks. It might even take a week, because that supply that's hit the market is going to get eaten up very quickly by collectors, people who felt that they missed out last time, especially where the price has gone up quite a lot over retail. People will see this as an opportunity to finally buy a box for a little bit cheaper. I don't expect prices are going to crash back down, or we'll see anywhere close to MSRP price, probably ever for this set, I don't think. This is potentially going to be the new bottom price, around about $300. Potentially, they could put more waves out and the price could drop down a little bit more. But the thing I like to think about, and the way I like to look at it, is on a week-by-week basis. So this week we've seen a lot more supply hit the market, so the price has come down a little bit. Is there going to be that same amount of supply on the market next week or the following week? And what you really need to think about is how many weeks of the next year is Pokemon Company going to be able to keep Destined Rivals on the shelf? Because every week that it's not available, the price is going to go up. Because what people don't understand about this set in particular, compared to ones in other eras that did really well, is we've now got rip and shippers. It's such a huge part of the hobby now. People are churning through boxes, and as the price increases on Destined Rivals, as they all get opened, it's almost like a vicious storm. More people buy into it, the rip and shippers charge a higher price, more people want to open it because it's rarer to find, and it just pushes the price higher and higher and higher. And that really is a market condition that we've never really seen in any Pokemon hype cycle ever. I've been through multiple hype cycles with buying and investing in sealed product, and that's what really separates out the Scarlet and Violet era, the rise of the rip and ship era. And that's what it really should be called, the rip and ship era, because that makes up such a massive part of this hobby, and that's part of the reason why Destined Rivals has shot right up to around about this $300 range and $300 plus. So this week we're seeing a slight reduction in numbers, so average price has gone down $16, which is really nothing to worry about when you're seeing such a wide amount of stock hit the market all around the world. It will not last. 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks max, all of that stock will be off the market. These are the people who are managing to pick it up from retail, from Pokemon Center, or from an LCS or something like that for retail or close to retail out in the wild, and they're just flipping it. They're taking profit, they're scalping it, that's reducing the price down a little bit. That's all it is. And there's not a huge amount of sales data here in comparison to the bigger, wider market. You're seeing 40 sales a day for Destined Rivals, one of the hottest sets out there, and then you're seeing a reduction in price by $16 for something that's already way over retail. Me personally, I'm sitting completely safe because we bought down at this low point here. People said we were mad buying this for like $240, $230 a box. We bought 6 to build our own sort of pseudo case out of it, and people said I was mad. Oh, wait for MSRP. Then we saw this massive run up in price, and now we're seeing a little bit of a price correction. But the price correction, interestingly, isn't really anything to do with the fact that it rose too much. That's not a normal price correction. The price correction is because more supply hit the market. They just released another wave of it. Now, will there be more waves in the future? Yes. If you bought last week, have you potentially lost $16 if you were to sell it this week, 7 days later? Yes. But we always say to people that be prepared to hold for at least 2 years. 2 years minimum to iron out any of these sort of dips in price with more product coming onto the market. Okay, if you'd have bought down at this point when people said I was mad, you're still sitting sweet. I don't think it's ever going to come back down to this 240 range. And even if it does, it's going to take a lot of product hitting the market for it to do that. And if you zoom out, long time horizon, 2 years plus, you're completely chilling. I would still even buy in at this price point. You're getting a $16 discount on one of the hottest sets that's around available right now. Still a strong buy in my opinion. Don't fall into the YouTuber trap of everyone. I can already see it. Everyone's going to be making videos this week saying Destined Rivals is crashing, selling everything. It's just clickbait. It's just to get more views. You get more views if you say things are crashing. That's all it is. We'll see whether I make a clickbait title for this one. Maybe I will, maybe we won't. I haven't decided yet. But nothing to worry about. It's still way over retail. It's one of the greatest sets of the modern era. It's got so much hype behind it. People will recognize it for a long time as well because it's got such strong branding. It's got such strong chase card with the Mewtwo SIR as well. I think Destined is still going to have a monster year going forward. I'm so happy to have it. If I had more spare money, I would buy into more of it. Yeah, nothing to worry about. Let's have a look at eBay. $230. Sorry, $330 last sold on eBay US. Right up there at that all-time high. Really nothing to worry about. I'm actually based here in the UK, but I compare both US and UK eBay. So wherever you are in the world, hopefully you'll get something out of this channel. Now here in the UK, we're going to see some lower prices this week because we're seeing, like I said, more stock coming through Pokemon Center, more stock coming through LCSs. A lot of the LCSs and sort of bigger online stores here in the UK, you can buy Destined Rivals right now, but they're charging this price. They're not charging retail, they're charging market. They're charging $260 a box. So I expect to see more hit in the market, but we may just see a stagnant week or two as people start to buy out all of the supply, and then I expect it to go back up again. This £260 buyout as well is an instant buyout as well, which is very interesting. Let's have a talk then about Prismatic Evolutions. Prismatic Evolutions is just holding at this $100 price point. We're seeing a few sales here on TCG Player, 94, 104, 106, 101. We've been saying this for a long time, that even with the Costco bundle release, the Sam's Club release, it's very unlikely that we're going to see it below $100 for any length of time, just because people like you, like a lot of people viewing my videos, people like me, we see $100 for a Prismatic ETB, we look at the long term and we just see that as a crazy bargain. Prismatic Evolutions, I think personally, is in the top 2 non-mainline sets. So top mainline set of Scarlet and Violet has got to be Destined Rivals in my opinion, and then top 2, top 3, all of the holiday sets apart from Shrouded Fable are pretty decent in the Scarlet and Violet era. You've got your Paldean Fates, your 151, and your Prismatic Evolutions. I think they'll all do fantastically well, and to still be able to pick up Prismatic for around about $100 a box is just a no-brainer for me. If I had more space, I would buy more. Me personally, I'm just buying a lot more of the booster bundles at the moment to be a bit more space efficient, but I do hold quite a few of these ETBs. You can see there's a little Costco bundle there on the shelf as well. They're an excellent buy at the moment as well. Prismatic Evolutions is such a good set, and also one of my favourite buys at the moment. Last sold in the US, $99, $109. There's been so much talk over the last month or so that the Costco bundles, etc., are going to crash Prismatic ETBs into MSRP. I think the MSRP gang are very quiet at the moment, especially around Destined Rivals. They'll pipe up a bit, though, after the $16 drop on Destined Rivals this week. There'll be so many videos saying that it's going to drop to retail, but there's just no way that's going to happen with Destined Rivals, and I really don't think that's ever going to happen with Prismatic Evolutions as well. There's just so much demand for this, and there's so much value if you open Prismatic Evolutions. The chase cards are already, or even still, holding so much value. So anything under $100 for a Prismatic ETB for me is an instant buy, as long as you're willing to hold it for a little while. We may see a few slight dips under $100 over the next couple of years, but I think that will be very temporary and very short-lived. And at those opportunities, you can just buy more of it, personally. Let's have a look then at the UK market. Around about £100 all in. That's around about £6 or £7, 5-6% under what it has been for the last few weeks. That's a new listing bought out straight away as well for £96, £97.10 all in, basically 100 quid, which is what, like $120, $130, something like that. So again, nothing to worry about. I think Prismatic is a strong buy at the moment. I think Destined Rivals is still a strong buy at the moment, and you might even see some stupid people dumping product as well, just because we're seeing a few dollars or a few pounds knocked off over the next couple of weeks. Let's have a look then at Journey Together. Journey Together price chart has been broken on TCG Player for nearly 3 months now. It's a bit of a meme on the channel. We're all guessing in the comments section how long it's going to take TCG Player to fix their Journey Together chart. We're up to the 3-month mark now, so whoever said 3 months, you're winning at the moment. I said about 9 weeks for them to fix it, but still nothing. But we can still look at the prices on here. Some interesting, what looks like price manipulation going on with Journey Together at the moment, but we're not going to read too much into it. Let me just remove photo listings. Okay, so last week was around about the 2nd of August, so we were seeing lots of boxes here for around about that 260 mark, which was a little bit of a price increase last week, and we were saying we were going to keep an eye on it. We're seeing multiple sales here around about that 260 mark over the last 7 days, and then weirdly we're seeing one sale for 274 and then one sale for $300. Me personally, that just looks like price manipulation to me. It's one sale. I wouldn't read too much into it. I don't think Journey Together is worth $300 on TCG, because I think TCG is post-tax. But even still, I think that is probably not a completed sale, and they're just trying to manipulate it on TCG. But we'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, it looks like manipulation on TCG, because on eBay it still looks normal price. Last sold in the US, enhanced version on an auction for $227, with another one going here for $215, which I think $215 is a really good buy for Journey Together. I place it, I mean, the cheapest boxes in Scarlet and Violet right now are around about that 220 to 230 range. So to pick one up for 215 of Journey Together, I don't think it's the worst set. I think that is a fairly decent buy if you keep that for the long haul. And then you're seeing a auction here as well from yesterday for 230, which is about average for Scarlet and Violet sets, but I would say Journey Together is slightly better. It's like more of like a mid-table set to me. It's not one of the best sets, it's not one of the worst sets. So I would expect to see that maybe slightly over there. I think someone got a bit of a deal on that auction. I think 230 is a really strong buy for Journey Together at the moment. At that price point. Last sale in the UK, enhanced version 230, but they're quite hard to get over here, the enhanced version. And the normal version here going for like 167, which is pretty much bang on retail. Just a couple of quid over retail, postage over retail, basically. So to pick up Journey Together for retail price now is not a bad buy, in my opinion, here in the UK. Let's have a look then at Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks is holding pretty much at its all-time high with slow sort of price creeps happening. Surging Sparks is such an interesting set because Surging Sparks is really well received in the hobby, and I think that people's gaze is being taken away from Surging Sparks quite a lot at the moment. There's a lot of focus obviously going to be on the new Mega Evolutions set. A lot of people are looking at like Destined Rivals and stuff like that. Even Paldea Evolved, there's a lot more focus on that. People aren't really talking that much about Surging Sparks, and I think it's going to be one of those creeper sets. I think that now is a really good time to buy into Surging Sparks, and I think it's going to perform in the long term a lot better than people expect it to. Surging Sparks potentially could become one of the top 3 sets of Scarlet and Violet, in my opinion. Once it's been out for enough amount of time, I'm talking 2, 3, 4 years from now, I think Surging Sparks could be decently up there in value. It could be up there $600 to $800 a box within a few years' time. I think it could get there. And I'm trying to think like more long term, what are the best sets of Scarlet and Violet? Because we've basically finished the era now. There's going to be no more Scarlet and Violet sets. So what are the best mainline sets? I mean, once you take Prismatic, 151 and Paldean Fates out of the mix and we're just looking at booster boxes, I mean, we're talking, in my opinion, Destined Rivals, Surging Sparks is up there. And then third place, I don't know where that's going to be. It's got to be like Paldea Evolved, maybe Twilight Masquerade. I think they're all going to be fighting for that number 3 spot. So Surging Sparks I think is quite a good buy right now, and it's poised ready to strike right up there at its all-time high price. What is its all-time high price actually? All-time high price was a peak in February at 265. Last sales 237. So it's not far off. It's like within 10% of its all-time high, and it's just slowly creeping up there in price. Once a little bit more time goes on, some more sets come out, you get some more Mega Evolutions and stuff, the reprints get less and less likely as time goes on. I think Surging will start creeping up. Now is not a bad time to buy into it. I've got 1 box of it at the moment that I've got for retail from Pokemon Center. I might look at buying another box. It's not looking too bad at the moment. 240, especially where we're talking about like all of, like the lower end of Scarlet and Violet sets are all like 220, 230. You know, if you can pick up Surging for 237, I don't think it's one of the mid sets. I think it's at the upper end of the Scarlet and Violet era. I don't know, just my personal opinion on that one. Last sale on eBay, 250. I think that's about fair. I think that's fair market price for it right now. But if we start looking at the long term, I think it's going to have a decent increase in price over 250. I can definitely see it hitting 500 a box. It's just how long will it take to get there? Will it take 2 years to get there? Will it take 4 years to get there? That's the question. It's not a question whether it will get to $500. It's a question of how long it will take to get to $500. But for 250 a box, I don't think that's bad. I think you'll double up your money within a few years. Decent buy in my opinion. Last sale in the UK, £265. It's really creeping up here in the UK. But again, there's just not that much of it available here at the moment. Let's have a look then at Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade is slowly reducing down in price over the last couple of weeks after a massive sort of run up in price there. Over the last 3 months we're still up 20% though. It's just having a bit of a price correction. Last week we were averaging about 275 last sales here. Now this is interesting. Again, talking about the price manipulation. So look at this. All sales from yesterday, they were all at this 275, 280, 285, 270, around that average price that we've been seeing 7 days ago, holding at the same price. However, yesterday it looks like someone started dumping product at 212, which is way below market. It's all the same seller because they're all the exact same price, 212.46, and they've sold 4 boxes so far for quite a bit below market, because market is what they're, I mean, 280 was the last sold before it, but market was really 275 because that's what it was last week as well. And we're seeing multiple sales of that. And then this person's dumping for 212, which is $63 under market, which is, let's calculate it out. Someone's dumping for 22, nearly 23% below market on Twilight Masquerade. Is there been a sudden rush of stock that's come out on Twilight Masquerade? Has there been another wave? I didn't see it. Let me know in the comments section down below. Or is this just one person doing a bit of price manipulation and they're just buying off of 2 dummy accounts that they've got and these aren't actually completing sales? Trying to manipulate things on TCG? I don't know. This is all live from yesterday as well, and we've only got 1 seller. So I wouldn't read too much into it, but we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this. Potentially a big drop on Twilight Masquerade, but I don't think so. It looks like manipulation to me, and it's happening more and more in the market as well. It's becoming more and more prevalent. A lot more people trying to control the prices of these sets. Last sale from the same day on eBay, $270. So again, right up there on market price. So personally, I would say market's still 270 to 275. I would disregard these last 4 sales for 212 because they just look like they aren't real. But we'll keep a look. It'd be interesting to see next week what happens with it. Last sale in the UK, £182, 186 all in. Decent price point for Twilight Masquerade, in my opinion. I think it's only going to go up in the long term. Like I said, you hold that for at least 2 years, then it'd be well out of print as well. I think you'll do very well on that. Let's have a look at 151 Elite Trainer boxes. 151 has just been on an absolute tear for weeks and weeks. You can see there over the last 3 months it's up 38%. Pretty certain it's never getting reprinted again. Just a monster of a set, doing really well. I think it will continue to do really well over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Last week it was averaging 291. Last sale 300, so about $10 increase, which is 5% price rise on 151 Elite Trainer box this week. But interestingly, it's just compounding. It's every week it's going up 4%, 5%, 9%, 4%, 5%, doing really well, the 151 Elite Trainer box. Let's have a look then at last sales in the US. Regular version going for $280. I think very soon you'll struggle to get a box under $300 because it's right on that price point. It's a very psychological barrier once it breaks through 300 and you get regular sales over 300. I don't think it'll ever go below that again. Pokemon Center exclusive version, we've kind of just been loosely looking at it. It's been going on an absolute tear. The premium on that is insane right now. Last sale on an auction for $860 and on a buy it now for $900. I'm shaking my head because that is absolutely ludicrous prices for the PC ETB 151. Last sale in the UK, £276, and the PC ETB going for $526. The US market really running away with that PC ETB. Europe just lagging behind a little bit on that one. Let's have a look then at Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved has had a bit of a price correction over the last month or so, but we're seeing steadily it climb back up. $346 was the average price on TCG last week. and we're seeing sales kind of all over the place really. Last sale 330, sale before like 350, 350, 350, 360, 360. So a huge range of sales really. We're seeing about an 8% swing just on yesterday's sales between the highest and the lowest. I would average that out to mean that it's basically the same price as last week. I think it's just finding its feet and finding a market price that everyone agrees with. After the big run up in price, we've seen a little bit of a consolidation. I think it dropped a little bit too much, and then it's just creeped up a little bit over the last 2 weeks to around about this 350 kind of range. And I think that's where it's going to sit for a little while before it has more movements to the upside. Again, if you zoom out, these sort of price changes week to week really don't make any difference at all. If we're looking long term for Paldea Evolved, again, we're talking one of the best sets of Scarlet and Violet. Easily the box is going to double in price. How long is it going to take though? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year? Most likely 2.5 to 3 years, perhaps 4 years, but you never know. The way the market's going right now, with so much money flowing in from people, once it's properly out of print, it could be double the price in 12 months' time. I wouldn't even be surprised, to be honest. Let's have a look then at last sales in the US. What did I click on there? Again, we're seeing a huge swing in prices. So both two new listings here, one for $300, one for $350. Both sold yesterday, both sold instantly on a buy it now. That's a huge swing in price. What's that, about 16%? Let's calculate that out. A $50 swing between two buy it now sales on the same day. 50 divided by 350. 14%. What did we say? 16%. Okay, our maths is not bad considering we've only had one coffee so far this morning. The brain is working all right. That's a pretty good estimate. 14% swing between two sales on the same day. Those are margins. Never mind about trying to time the market and picking the most opportune time to buy into Paldea Evolved. It's literally on the same day. Just be patient. Within 24 hours, you can get 14% off. And this is the same over pretty much all of these sets at the moment. I see so many people in this hobby, even on the sealed side of things, that don't know how to operate in a bull market or in a hype market. For me, it's my favorite time to invest. So many people are scared to invest in a hype market or a bull market because they're like, oh, prices are just running away though. Everything's overinflated. If I buy something, it's just going to crash. But there's so many deals to be had. Look, you could save 14% on Paldea Evolved. I wonder how far apart those sales are. I mean, they're on the same day. At a maximum, those are 24 hours apart, those sales, or 23 hours, 59 minutes. More than likely, those sales are a few hours apart. At the most. They might even have been minutes apart. And there's a 14% price swing on it, on one of the best sets on Scarlet and Violet. Deals to be had there out in the market for all of the sets. Just be patient, know your prices. That's why this kind of channel is great, because you can know what the market prices are. There's so much to keep up with them, and the market's moving so fast every single week that's why you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity, and I will keep you up to date with all of your prices. This is the only video you need. If you're going to watch one video every week, make it this one, because we will keep you up to date whenever anything's spiking up in price, so that you don't have to be looking on TCG Player and running all of these sets every 7 days. Just sit down, get yourself comfy, podcast style, get yourself a nice drink, or put me on while you're doing some housework or something like that, and we'll just kick back and we'll just tell you the prices. If suddenly Twilight Masquerade goes to the moon and jumps up 300%, you'll know about it first, just from watching this video. You don't need to be paying attention to the market when you subscribe to this channel. We will do it for you, and we will always point out plays. That's what this channel is all about. So £260 last sold here in the UK. Pretty stagnant over the last few weeks, but still just holding a massive premium. It had that massive run up in price a couple of months ago, and it's just holding now at that price. I think that long term, there's no way that's not £500 a box plus. It's a long haul investment. buy it, put it away. It's not one of those sets that's just going to crash and drop down to £160 or drop down to retail. If you buy in now for Paldea at £260 or however much it is in dollars, $300, and you just put it into a storage unit or a storage container, chuck it into the back of a wardrobe with some anti-mold stuff, chuck it in there, forget about it for a couple of years, you will do very well from it, I guarantee. Although nothing's a guarantee. So even when I say a guarantee, it's never certain. At the end of the day, we are all investing in shiny cardboard. It could all become worthless. It is extremely unlikely that it will become completely worthless, but it is always a possibility. So only ever invest what you're willing to lose. Let's have a look then at Paldean Fates. We don't look at Paldean Fates every week, but we probably should, because it is just continuing to become a monster. It's starting to follow in the footsteps of 151. It's got two of the best cards in the era as well, and is one of my favourite sets. I really like my Paldean Fates. And as you can see, it's just having continued chunky growth. It's up to, last week it was at $204. On the average price. Now it's up to like 220. So that's 16 divided by 204. It's up 7.8% over the last 7 days, and I think it will just continue to have that run. I don't really see any reason why it would drop down in price. I think reprints at this stage are very unlikely for Paldean Fates. Even if they do, you might see reprints of the booster bundle, but I think that will be unlikely, and I think that ETB is just going to continue to rise up. Also, let's just talk about the ETB for a minute. One of the nicest looking ETBs of the era, in my opinion. It displays really well, really nice with the silver shining through the purple. I think they did an excellent job designing that one. Compared to some of the other ETBs in the era, particularly like Paldea Evolved has one of the worst looking ETBs in my opinion. Let's have a look then at Temporal Forces. We're going to quickly whiz through Temporal Forces and like Paradox Rift and stuff. They're slowly gaining up in price. Last week it's actually had a bit of a dip though. But if you average things out, it's decently up. Over the last 3 months it's up 11%. Be very careful about Temporal Forces. Last sold 224. This is what I'm talking about the cheapest boxes being at this 220 range. So Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift, both at that 220 range. And once you start realizing that's where the market is for Scarlet and Violet, stuff like Surging Sparks for like 245 starts looking a lot more attractive, and that's how you need to look at things. Okay, an extra $25 for a Surging Sparks sealed, I'd much rather have that. Be very careful about Temporal Forces and Paradox Rift at the moment though, because that is a lot available for retail over here in the EU, and there's nothing to stop us from shipping it over to you, either selling internationally on eBay, or there's nothing to stop some crazy person just buying them all out for retail here. Same with Journey Together, we can get them for retail here in an almost endless amount, and just filling up an entire shipping container of it. I was trying to find the word, and then I used my eyes to like trace the image, like shipping container of Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces. We can get an unlimited amount of those at the moment for like £140, which is under $200, way under $200, I think. So be very careful buying them in the US right now. Average price in the US on TCG Player last week was around about 220. They're about 220 now as well. One of the cheapest boxes of the Scarlet and Violet era, along with Temporal Forces. Let's move on then and start talking about the big boys of Sword and Shield. Let's talk about the monster himself, the King Rayquaza, the King Moonbryon set, the Evolving Skies. Probably the best set of the last 10 years. And just continuing, look at the price chart, look how healthy that is. Just continuing to have a historic run up in price. It's very hard to look at average price points on TCG Player just because you're getting like 1 to 0 sold a day, and the variance is so high. But like last sold in the US $2,448. It's better for us to just look at eBay than look at average prices on Evolving Skies at this point. Last sold instant buyout for $2,000. Still got the new listing tag. It's so interesting because we talked about on the channel about that $2,000 price point where it was really struggling to break through $2,000, and look at how different it is now that it's successfully broken through, and we've seen lots of sales over $2,000. Now $2,000 is the basement price, and now you're seeing boxes go up for $2,000 and just get bought out instantly, which is very interesting to see. I personally think that's a little bit undervalued at the moment at $2,000, and I think someone got a good deal for that. I mean, where would I put market at? Probably like $2,400 to $2,500 is where I would place market for the US, and even then I think it's a little bit underpriced. I think it should be closer to $2,600 to $2,700 and a $3,000 box by Christmas time. And Christmas time may sound crazy that it's like, oh, way off in the distance. Of course it would be $3,000 by then, but it's really not that far away in the grand scheme of things. I mean, an average month is like 4 weeks. We're already over a week into August. September, October, November, December. 4 full months until Christmas. 16 weeks over 4 months plus 3 now, so 19 weeks till Christmas, and it's going for $2,000 now. So I don't know why I'm pulling out the calculator. So if it went to $3,000 a box, that's a 50% price rise in the next 16 weeks. That's what I'm calling out. It's a pretty bold prediction, but I think Evolving Skies can do it. Even if it's not at 3K market, I think that there'll be at least one sale at around Christmas time that will hit right up at that $3,000 mark. It'll be like $2,900, $2,950, something like that. And then we'll see a similar thing, I think, where it's knocking on the door of $3,000 for a while and flirting with it, going up and down between $2,500 and $3,000 for maybe a month or so, probably into like January, February, and then it will just start breaking out over $3,000. That's my prediction. Even if I'm wrong on the time scale, just put it back a little bit. Put it back another 6 months and it will have happened. So that's your variance, a 6-month variance on my predictions, I would say. Last sale in the UK, $2,000, $2,075, auction for $1,947. See, that's mad that we're seeing regular sales right up on that £2,000 mark. It's a decent amount of money. We saw one sale this week for 2,206 as well. That's the absolute peak at the moment. And if you look at that on the price comparison of the exchange rate, £2,206 is right on $3,000. So we're paying that over here in the UK, or someone is. One person is paying that. But yeah, highest I've seen is £2,206. Let me try and find it, actually. It was here. Yeah, there it is. £2,206 someone paid on the 7th, which is 2 days ago here in the UK, which is right on $3,000. So I think the US market will follow and it will hit there by Christmas time. I feel like the UK market is kind of running away a little bit quicker with Evolving Skies, purely for the fact that we're a slightly smaller market. There's less people to sell them, there's less people to buy them. Our prices can just be a bit more volatile. Not so much when there's a lot of supply around, stuff with like Destined Rivals. We kind of track your market quite similarly. But once you start increasing in value and start getting over 2,000 a box, I think that that's when you really sort of see the smallness of the size of the UK market, and you start to see price volatility really accelerate a lot quicker than the US market. And I think this is where you're going to start seeing the US market follow over the next couple of months. £2,200, as I said, is $2,966. That would be an insane all-time price for the US, and I think it's coming. I really do. Let's have a look then at Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike has been on a bit of a tear. Again, it's been chasing its all-time high that it hit at around June sort of time, when it saw that massive run-up in price, as you saw with a lot of the other Sword and Shield boxes. Last week it was averaging, let's see, $736. Last sales, $850. 875. 875. God. That's is that the highest we've seen on TCG Player? It's right up there. It's all-time high. Yeah, it's all-time high on average price is 792. So to see some 875 sales is absolutely crazy. Massive leg up in price on Fusion Strike this week. We can calculate it out from the last price if you want. So 736, last sale 850. 850 minus 736. £114 price rise between the average last week and last sale now. 114 divided by 736. 15% price rise on Fusion Strike this week. Really strong. Again, just poised at its all-time high. Just poised to have another massive run up. It's going to break 1,000 a box. It's definitely going to break 1,000. It's $875 now. We've been calling for the $1,000 Fusion Strike box by Christmas time since like January this year. We've been saying it'll be 1,000 by Christmas, and it's well on course to do that. Last sale in the US $820, and that's on an auction as well, not even a buy it now. Last sale in the UK $540 all in when you include postage. Again, right up there at that all-time high sort of price. Lost Origin on a bit of a tear as well. We've been saying for a long time that Lost Origin is underpriced and should always be within $100 of Fusion Strike, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be. We saw Fusion Strike have a big run, and over the last 2-3 weeks we're seeing Lost Origin start to catch it up now. $530 last week on the average price, and now we're seeing sales of 650, 650, 600. Look at this. Loads of sales on the 5th, which was 4 days ago, for 600, and then it just jumps to 650. Like I said, and I've been saying since it was around about $500 that Lost Origin is massively underpriced and should be within $100 striking distance. Fusion Strike is around about that 8 to 850 range. I think that Lost Origin is still underpriced and should be around about that 7 to 750 range. So I would say that Lost Origin is still $100 underpriced at that price point. Last sale in the US, bang on $700. Last sale in the UK, £639. And look at the swing in price. This is what I'm talking about price swings. 2 sales, same day, buy it now. $572, $639. That's quite a difference in price. So 689 minus 572. Let's do a price swing. £67 price swing divided by 572. Oh, messed that up. 67 divided by 572. 11, nearly 12% price swing between 2 sales on the same day. Like I said, it's not about timing the market in a bull market. In a bull market, in a hype cycle, you can get deals on the same day. Just know your prices, watch these videos, and you'll pick up deals. Whoever saw that for 572 got a really good deal, because straight after the next person was willing to pay 640. And I think very, very soon it's going to catch right up to Fusion Strike again. Fusion Strike's been on a bit of a tear. I mean, it's more expensive here, actually, Lost Origin than Fusion, right? Yeah. That's 639, and Fusion was, yeah, 537. So in the UK, it's already done what I've expected it to do, which was to catch up to Fusion Strike. It's actually pulled ahead. In the US, that hasn't happened yet. In the US, Lost Origin just looks so underpriced at the moment. I mean, last sale there is $700. That's what it should be. But on TCG Player, it's much cheaper. On TCG, it's $650. But I presume that's because of taxes. I don't know. Not sure. But either way, Lost Origin is underpriced in my opinion. Let's move on. Let's talk about Astral Radiance. Astral Radiance has been dropping down in price over the last 3 months. It's probably one of the only Sword and Shield sets to be dropping down in price. And he's just getting it cheaper and cheaper each month. I don't think it's a bad set. I put it in the top 5 sets of Sword and Shield. Had that massive run up in price about 3 months ago. If we zoom out a bit, there you go, you got that massive run up in price. So in the grand scheme of things, that price correction is really not that major considering how much it had a run up in price. It was definitely manipulated. There were definitely a lot of buyouts, but it's interesting to see the sets that continued to climb after the buyouts: the Evolving Skies, the Fusion, the Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest. But Astral Radiance, the demand's just not there. I think people are sleeping on it, and it's just getting cheaper and cheaper each week. I'm keeping an eye on it. I'd be happy to buy some more Astral Radiance, to be honest. I think over the long haul it will do really well. $376 last week, and we're seeing sales now of around about that 360 mark, multiple sales at 360. So down about $13 over the last 7 days. 13 divided by 3. What was it? It's like 357. Down 3.6%. Not too bad at all. Little bit of a discount. Do I think it will continue to fall down a bit and price correct? Yeah, probably. It probably will drop down a total of probably another 10 to 15% over the next month or two until it just has the next buyout. The thing is, there's so like little supply and demand for Astral Radiance that people can just make a play on it so easily, and that's where you saw this big price manipulation on it. There's nothing to stop that from happening again, and I think it will happen again. Let's have a look then at my boy, the Crown Zenith, one of my favourite steady investments to invest into. If you want steady, consistent gains, Crown Zenith is your boy. It's a great set to open. It is the last set of Sword and Shield era. It is also a holiday set. So speciality set. There's no booster boxes of it, so your Elite Trainer box is your boy. Fantastic set, love it. Just continues to go up in price, never really dips down, and is just really steady. Let's have a look at last week then. Last week it was like 186, and you're seeing sales now for like 184, 184, 189, 189, loads of sales for 189. Potentially up a couple of bucks. Pretty similar to last week though. We'll just call it average on this week. But Crown Zenith is so safe. It just continues to climb up percent on percent on percent. Wouldn't worry about it having a flat week, because if you look at any other week, it's just doing like 2%, 4%, 3%, 2%, 3%. It just compounds over time. So for it to have 1 week where it just stays the same price is nothing to be worried about at all. Really good buy in my opinion. Brilliant Stars chart, again, been broken for around about 3 months. But some pretty interesting price action. So let's look back at last week. Last week it was selling for around about the 400 range, anything from 395 to 420. 407 there. We'll average it out to about 410 from last week, and now we're seeing sales at 450, 440, multiple sales at 450. So really it's up about $40 on TCG on the average. $40 divided by the 400. No, we said 410, didn't we? 410. It's up 9.7% over the last week on the averages. And the last sales here on eBay, $430. But you can get deals, because look, there's 420, $10 off, 425. That seems to be about market. 425 to 430 on eBay. I think you pay tax after on eBay US, which always confuses me, because over here in the UK you pay tax. Tax is like included in the price. It's not like an extra afterwards. So that always confuses me a little bit. But I'm not US based, so there you go. You guys in the US will know what your tax is, whether that's included or you have tax on top. But yeah, $430 there for Brilliant Stars, a slight price increase. And last sale in the UK, 363, brand new tag, bought out. Look at this, brand new tag, bought out, 330. So again, what's that? Exactly an 11% swing. 11% swing, 2 sales the same day. Like, what more do you want? Like, this is why buying and investing in hype cycles is the best, because you've got people dumping and taking profit, selling it for way under market, and you can sell it for market, which is just running away, and every week it's getting more and more and more. Honestly, it's the best time. I love investing in hype cycles. There's so many people right now that are scared because they don't know how to operate in this kind of cycle, so they just sit back and wait. Now, if I had a load of extra money, then I would buy into these sets. Me personally, the last thing I bought was about 2 weeks ago, this Costco bundle thing. Me personally, I bought nothing for like 14 days. There is reasons behind that. It's a personal reason. It's nothing to do with the market. It's nothing to do that I don't want to buy stuff. It's nothing to do with the fact that there's no plays or no deals. You can see I've got tabs and tabs of deals. I've got some finance personal expenses. I've got to sort out some healthcare and stuff. So that's why I haven't been buying over the last 2 weeks or so. If I did have the money, what would I be buying? Probably more 151 booster bundles, more prismatic 2-pack bundles, or ETBs or stuff like that, or some Crown Zenith. Or there's just plays everywhere. If I had mega money, and I know some of my viewers do because I know some of them talk to me, if you've got a lot of money to invest, it's Evolving Skies. Okay, if you've got 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, get yourself some Evolving Skies, get yourself some Lost Origin, get yourself some Fusion Strike. Those are your safe bets, in my opinion, for long-term growth. If you haven't got that much money and you want to get involved in like the more modern stuff, then it's your 151, Paldean Fates, Destined Rivals, Surging Sparks, like everything that I've talked about. Pretty much everything's a play at the moment. So there you go. That's why I love hype cycles. Everything's a play. Like in downturns, people always moan because they're like, "Oh, there's no plays to be made. Everything's cheap and nothing's worth much money. I don't want to buy into it. The price hasn't moved in 2 months. Why would I buy into it?" But those people are never happy because they wait when the prices are cheap, and then in the hype cycle they don't buy either because they're like, "Oh, the prices are changing every week. They're overinflated. I'm not going to buy anything." So with people like that, you can't win. You really can't win because they'll moan whatever the market conditions are. Me personally, I love investing in a hype cycle. It is fantastic. Let's have a look then at Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest we'll go through very quickly. Last week it was averaging 370. Now it's at like 378. There's a sale right there on 400. Multiple sales actually. 398, 398, 397. So that's averaging out at like, about 398. So potentially it's up like 70 to 398 is $28. 28 divided by 370. 7.5% rise on Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest and Brilliant Stars making a little bit of a run. They've been underpriced for a long time. Anyway, let's finish off the episode and talk about something a little bit different. I love taking this section just to talk about weird things that I've seen going on in the market, stuff like that. Today, we're going to talk about the Mew, the Sky Mew, the Sunset Mew card from the 151 collection box, the promo. Someone bought it on US eBay yesterday. In fact, no, this was this morning for $73.99. And I saw that and I was like, oh my god, that's spiked up in price a lot. But then I actually looked at the price of the UPC and the price of the actual single, and although it's gone up and steadily gone up, someone just massively overpaid for that. So I thought I'd found an amazing big spike up in price and I could be the first one to call it on that, but I didn't. Someone just massively overpaid. So there, if you search for the actual raw card here or the sealed raw, there you go, $73. It is in its packaging and it's sealed, but you're seeing raws still going for around about 30 to 40. PSA 9 is going for like 55. So the fact that someone bought a sealed one for 73 when the 9's like 55, I don't know. I think someone just massively overpaid, so nothing to worry about. And then it didn't take me long to find some stupid stuff. Look at this as well. Someone bought one sealed pack of Shining Fates, one pack of Shining Fates for $80 and imported it from Australia. Someone massively overpaid on that. Don't know what that's all about. Crazy. And then while we're here, interestingly, someone imported a Evolutions. We never talk about Evolutions. Evolutions is such a good set. $1,956. I do feel like with now that Evolving Skies is like more expensive than Evolutions, and Evolving Skies is going on a tear, I feel like it's kind of pushing up Evolutions a little bit. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity, and please do smash that like button if you enjoyed this episode or you got anything out of it. It really does help my channel and push my content out there further. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and peace.